I heard somewhere that about 40% of Llama downloads are in China, and also a colleague of mine in Beijing says that all Chinese startups are a huge fan of your work in particular and your philosophy and your openness. Do you what are your thoughts about the innovation coming out of there? Are you a proponent of collaborating openly when there is such a tense geopolitical climate? And can you tell us about sort of China and AI innovation and where you...
Okay, so the point of open sourcing and openness is the fact that you don't have to collaborate, right? You can use a piece of technology without talking to the owner of that technology. You can just download it and use it, right? And fine-tune it, whatever, improve it, perhaps. I think in the first week that Llama 3 was put online for download, there was 1.2 million downloads. And I think in 4 weeks it went up to 170 million downloads. I mean, this is an astonishing number. Are there 170 million people around the world that can actually run LLMs on their own machines or fine-tune them or improve on them? Like the number of derived models from Llama 3 on Hugging Face and various platforms is astonishing. It's in the tens of thousands. So I find that really wonderful. Now, when you ask about China, I mean, we can ask that question about access to technology. What is the right trade-off between giving access or restricting access? And is there a way to partially restrict access that does not throw out the baby with the bathwater? And the answer is no. The answer is, if you want a vibrant ecosystem where that progress is fast, the progress is going to be faster in regions of the world where the communication of information is fastest, right? Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley because there is a very, really fast exchange of technical information. People circulate and people have conferences and talks and blah, blah, blah. And so that kind of pulls the entire ecosystem, and that diffuses the technology very quickly into the industry. China is not like that. The diffusion speed in China is much slower because a lot of it is top down. And so you don't get this kind of effect. That's the first thing. Second thing is, the Chinese government is relatively scared of AI because those are systems that give information access to citizens, but it's not controlled in the same way as blocking Wikipedia or whatever. And so they actually put more constraints on what AI systems can do, and that sort of creates a bit of an isolated ecosystem. Third thing is that scientists in China are really good. They're not that far behind in terms of technology development, and there's a lot of really interesting papers coming out of China, really good ideas that help the entire world of AI that came out of China. A good example of this is the single most cited paper in all of science is an AI paper about neural nets, about convolutional neural nets, about a particular type of convolutional neural net called ResNet. The main author of this paper is a gentleman called Kaiming He, who was at the time at the Microsoft Research Lab in Beijing, published this paper. It was a revolution. Okay, everybody uses this thing. And the paper has got hundreds of thousands of citations. Amazing. Just a year later, Kaiming He joined Meta. Became a scientist at Meta. He recently left just a few months ago. He's now a professor at MIT. Complete win for Western industry and US education system at MIT. But the original invention was from China. Like, do we want to cut ourselves from innovation coming out of China? No.
And a great example of success for open science too, right?
Absolutely.
Moving back to where we are today in Europe.